Is that how you want to open up the video?
Yeah. All right, guys, we got a treat for you guys today. All right. So, me and Justin have been talking about this movie called Creed, right?
Mm.
Have you
Such a-
seen, yeah, have you seen the movie Creed before, right? So, let me just throw this out at you guys. Like, and we're talking about the very first Creed. So, as you guys know, Creed 3 just came out not too long ago with Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan. So before me and Justin watched Creed 3, because I'm pretty sure me and him both gonna love it, we wanted to do a video talking about the very first Creed movie. Cause like there's just so much stuff to talk about with the first Creed movie, right? So if you ain't seen the first Creed movie from 2015, it's gonna motivate you to watch that one. It's probably gonna motivate you to watch the second one. Justin, I don't think the second one was as good as the first one. What
it-
about you?
it's always hard to beat the first movie, and to be fair, the first one just set the bar so high. The first one did such a great job because it was like it. In right now, we get a lot of movies that are trying to bank on our nostalgia. It's like live action remakes or sequels from 20 years later, but like Creed does such a good job of like highlighting or like showing parallels to the Rocky movies, but not doing it in a rehash kind of way. It was like for a new generation. So it's kind of like a love letter to like the old fans of the Rocky, but also saying something new.
Right. Yeah, guys, so we're about to have a lot of fun. So I titled this video, What's Your Why? What is your why? And the only reason why I titled it that is because in the Rocky movie, Donis Creed, whatever you want to call him, Baby Creed, Michael B. Jordan's character, the main character on the movie, like everybody kept on asking him continually on every scene of the movie, way before he started like fighting professionally, and especially before he even was trained by Rocky, right? He just kept on going to people and saying, "I want to fight, I want to fight," but everybody was like, "Why? You don't have no reason to fight." Like people fight, they fight because that's all they have. Like they're trying to make and provide for their families. Like you're already set. You have no reason to fight.
He was yeah, because he wasn't Rocky was fighting because that's he had to like make a living for him and his wife. But
Mhm.
like Donnie, he already had a good job. He was about to be promoted. He was educated. He could have done anything else.
Right. And what's crazy is at the very beginning of the movie, we see that he did something with finance. I don't know what he was doing with finance, but
He was like an actuator or something like that.
yeah, and either way go, he got promoted, and he was about to have a secretary, and everybody he kept on going, to people still like, I want to fight. So he went to like his dad, Apollo Creed. He went to his former trainer's son, who is now a trainer, and had the gym that his father used to train at, and it's named after his father now that passed away, right? And he tried to get trained by him, but he was like, "No, I'm not training you, man. Like there's dudes out there that want to actually fight, and we don't know if you want to fight." Like, like
The
so.
restaurant was named the restaurant was named after Rocky's wife, though, that passed away,
Yeah,
Adrian.
and then he went to Rocky after it didn't work out with the former trainer's son of his father, right? Um,
Little Duke.
yeah, you look, yeah, you remember his name, man?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I remember
suck with names.
all the details.
Yeah, I suck with names. But then after that, like it didn't work out with that trainer. So little baby Creed decided to go to Rocky Balboa, like who fought his father and who was close with his father, got close to his father from fighting, right? And so Rocky was asking him like, "Why do you want to fight? Like, there's no reason for you to want to fight." He's and Creed's response back to him was, "I've been fighting my whole life. I don't have a choice." And then Rocky's, punch back to him was, there's always a choice, right? And so, yeah, so and then when he went on a date with his neighbor who was blasting music, who ended up being his wife and his, girlfriend and all that stuff. Then they had a baby together and stuff like that, right? So when he first met her, she even said, "You look square. Like, why do you want to fight? Like, you don't look like a boxer, like." And she said, and then she asked the question, like, "What made you fight?" And what's crazy is me and Justin was just talking about this, like. he never really gave a good answer. Like, I know his response back to that girl during the date, his response back was, my father fought. But like he didn't know when he was in juvenile, he was fighting, right? And he didn't know like why he was fighting then. He just was fighting. But his response back to like Rocky and the trainer was, I always have been fighting. It's just who I am, right?
Mm.
And so, yeah, I'll fast forward it, but he kind of said what his why was during the fight at the very end of the movie. Like his last fight that in the movie in round before round 12. So it's a 12-round fight, and it's when both of the two fighters didn't have any type of energy at all, right? And they had nothing left in the tank. And Rocky even told, Adonis Creed Johnson, that's his name. He said like, in life, in boxing, if you're going to do this boxing thing, you gotta have a reason why, right? If your why is not good enough, like when it gets hard, you're going to want to quit, right? He said, so when you're down on the ground and you want to give up and you don't want to get back up, he said, when you get punched hard enough and you keep on getting punched hard enough in the guts, in the stomach, in the face, like what's going to push you to keep on fighting? Like he said, do you really want this? And Rocky kept on asking him throughout the whole entire movie, like, do you really want to fight? Right? Like, what's your why? Because if your why isn't good enough, you're not going to get back up. You're going to give up. You're not going to work hard when I asked you to work hard because you have to work hard for this. And that's what's crazy. Like when it came to the very end of the movie, uh, he got baited in the main character, Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Creed Johnson, whatever his name is, Baby Creed, right? He got baited into fighting the heavyweight, the champion of the whole world in the lightweight division, in his division, right? So Justin, you gotta help me out, man. The dude was undefeated. That
He, he was
challenged him.
he was about to go to jail because of um for like 3 years, so he needed like one big last fight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was like a publicity stunt. I forgot why he was going to jail, but like they found out like this whole time too. Like Adonis Johnson has been keeping his identity kind of a secret because he wanted to build up his own legacy, which I appreciate for that, because it's like if he wanted to like run on the tailcoats of his daddy, he could have like come out as a Creed, but he didn't. He came out as like Adonis Johnson. So that like shows like but like eventually the movie like reveals that he's his son. So they throw this publicity stunt. I don't think it's kind of like how they threw Rocky in with Adonis. Same thing. Like just throw in like just show off like one good last fight before he goes to jail, and like who better than like Baby Creed.
Right.
So I think that was the backstory behind it. But like I think the guy who was going to jail was pissed because like he didn't want to like fight a baby in boxing.
Yeah, he said. He even said it to his publicity person. I don't know, his trainer. He said,
Yeah.
I don't want to beat the dude up. Like it's not fair. It's not a fair fight, right? And that's the whole point. Like Rocky asked him. He said, "You're gonna." He basically told him, "You're gonna be put in situations you don't want to be in." He said, "Well, in boxing, you're gonna be challenged. You're gonna be tested, right?" And the challenge for Creed was, and every Rocky movie is like this, by the way. Like you got to watch Rocky if you haven't seen it. All the Rockies, all the Creeds. Like Rocky in this movie especially, like Creed, Adonis Johnson, he had to fight a guy who was way out of his league. Like this dude was the champion of the world. He was the best in his division, the same division that Baby Creed's in, right? Then he was bigger, he was faster, he was more experienced. Like he had the reach over him, he had the power over him.
They even mentioned that like they always looked at Baby Creed and said like they said his father had like natural power, natural speed, natural reach, and like and this is something Sean and I will say later, but like Baby Creed had like none of that. So like it was like people made a note of that. So it's like if his reason of why had to be really strong, because like no one was in his corner. Like eventually Rocky was, but Rocky was like very tentative. But yeah, no one was in his corner because he just, even though he was like a Baby Creed, he didn't have like that natural prowess.
Mm-hmm.
But he did bring stuff. He did bring his own stuff to the table, which we'll talk about later for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But like if everyone's putting you down, and you don't have that natural gift, like, yeah, your why has to be like really good why. Like this, it makes me think back to I had a friend like go back to jail because of like a technicality with their parole,
Mhm.
and just red tape. And it's like he like whenever when I visit him like in the on Mondays in the during visitation hours, he kind of told me like situations like that show you who your friends are. Like your good friends will stay, your bad friends will leave, and this like and like you'll suddenly know who's on your side. Same situation with this. When you're knocked down, like you'll suddenly realize who has a good reason to fight or who's just doing it in for the money or the publicity. And like money, yeah, influence and money can get you a long way as well. But like when you get knocked down and you've already been in there for like 12 rounds, like you're gonna think, oh, this isn't worth it. But if you're the people who have like a passion or a why to fight, not even to fight, just to like do life, they'll get back up for whatever reason.
Yeah. And I really like yeah, before I say anything else, guys, I really like I'm gonna just show you different scenes. So like at the very beginning of the movie, uh Adonis Johnson, I think that's his name, right, Justin? Like
Yeah, honest.
yeah, but little baby Creed, man, when he was a baby, when he was a kid, he was in juvie school or something, juvie jail. I don't know where he is because I never been to it. But he was getting in fights, right? And what's powerful is her husband. So like this is Adonis Creed, senior, the dad that passed away from a fight from a boxing match, who's the father of this child. So he had an affair with another woman who had Adonis Johnson. Yeah.
Adonis was a bastard child. Yeah.
So yeah, he made him a bastard child. So Adonis Creed's wife, so the person he was married to, that he cheated on. So like his actual wife, right? So basically, she has no reason to love on this kid
Mm.
at all.
Not related to, yeah, not related to blood. His
Right.
biological mother was dead. Apollo died in like Rocky 4 or something like that. So
Yeah.
he
In a
has like no blood relations at all.
Right. So like she has no reason to care for this child at all. Like this is the kid of another woman that her husband slept with, right? So but anyways, she still takes the boy in and still loves on him
Mm.
as it's her own child, right? Like that is so powerful. So that just talks about God's love and stuff like that. So that's one way this movie's powerful. But like she even asked him when she got in a fight. When he got in a fight, she was like, "Why are you fighting?" Like I'm trying to find where I said that. Yeah. She asked, like, why are you fighting? He was just like, I always fight. Like he still didn't give a reason why, like he
Mm.
had to fight. Then, like, not too long after this, like when Adonis first went to Adrian's, so I think the restaurant's called Adrian's. Like when he first went to the restaurant to talk to Rocky to ask him to be his trainer, Rocky was like, "Nah, like I don't do that stuff, man." And then he figured out like, oh, that's Creed's son. Like, wow, like because Creed told him like Rocky was just surprised how much Adonis knew about him and his father and all the stuff
Mm.
behind the scenes and just Rocky's personal life. Like the media doesn't know stuff like he knew. So it's like,
Mm.
how do you know all this stuff? Right. So Rocky was just really impressed. And eventually it motivated Rocky to go to his own gym, Mickey's gym. So his Rocky's former trainer and to see like let's see how hard he's working, like what is he doing in there today, like. And so it surprises Rocky's former friend whose son boxes now, who's been trying to get Rocky out of his shell
Yeah.
to
Like
help his son.
yeah, yeah.
But this dude from Hollywood, from California, just gets Rocky out from out of retirement to train him. Like, how does he? So it really offended his friend, Rocky's friend, like that. He would never train his son, but he just
Mm.
trains it. He just training this stranger that's been at his gym, training by himself for the most part. So like, yeah, on this scene though, like this scene was so powerful, Justin. Rocky asked Adonis on this scene, like, he said that your father was special. To tell you the truth, I don't know if you're special.
Mm.
Only you're going to know that. And when the time is right, you'll know it. Like, and it's
So,
going to come overnight. It's not going to come overnight. He said you're going to take a beating. You're going to take this. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get up. Then we're going to see if you have the right thing, right?
Something I liked about these scenes, pull up that slide again that shows. Yeah, something I liked is like even though he didn't give a reason of like why he fights, like in his search for why, he actually gave like a why for his I'm not sure what to call her, like his surrogate mother, and he gave like a why for like Rocky as well, like in the third, I think in the third movie, I got in the trailer, like the mom was saying like ever since Apollo, her husband died, like raising baby Creed has like almost given her like helped fill her void or gave her a reason to keep going as well.
Mm.
Like Rocky, he was like Sean already mentioned before, like Rocky said like boxing was already in the past for him. He's already had his time. Like he was just working in a restaurant, which is not bad. Sometimes when you get older, you just want to relax. But like him getting back into boxing, it was like in his blood. He couldn't stay away. So like I love how both of those characters, they weren't even trying to find a why to their life, but it was like seeing him find a why, seeing him like get motivated them too. Like that, it's contagious though. I think that's awesome. I think that really shows how the people you hang out with like influences your life.
Right.
But I will say, since we're on the topic, I want to talk about Rocky's why a little bit. There's a danger to this question. I think you do need to ask, what is your why? It does the same vein as like, what is your purpose in life? Like, what are you here to do? And it's like baby Creed, like even though he didn't know who his daddy was for the longest time, like it was kind of in his blood. Like God had passed on those genes, passed on those gifts. Like he didn't put in like all the genes. Lots of people said like he didn't have Apollo's strength or speed or reach, but like Apollo was able to bring some other stuff to the table. But it's like he had those passions to keep on fighting. So like you have to discover what your passions are. You have to ask yourself, what is your why, so you can keep on going, because that's what separates the people that will give up when they get knocked down next to like the next heavyweight champions.
Mm.
But a danger to that is like, no, I really don't think anyone has like one purpose in life. I don't know why. I think it's just in our spirits to like ask ourselves, what's the meaning of life, or what is our purpose in life? I don't think we have one purpose, because it's like once you reach your purpose or once you reach your why, like what do you do then? Like where do you go from there? Like once you win, like do you, how much further do you need to go? And like the book of the Ecclesiastes makes a really good point in that the rich always want to be richer, but like the poor will always go to bed full. And it's like the people who are satisfied with their life will probably find more enjoyment. But if you reach your purpose, so-called purpose, and you don't know what to do, like you're always going to be hungry, which can be like dangerous because you can lose motivation. Like Rocky, like the reason I'm saying this is because that's what kind of happened to Rocky. Like his wife had passed away, his trainers passed away, Polly had passed away, and it's like he's already fought, he's already had his time, so he didn't really have anything else to do. But like getting back into that boxing ring, it was like that was his next purpose. And man, he does such a great job in the mentorship role. Like it's who's the actor? Sylvester Stallone. Just he's gotten up in age, but he fits the role so well. So that is the dangerous part of like asking what your why is, because it's always going to be changing. It's always going to be evolving, because we're always changing. And something we said like yesterday, I think, is like we're constantly trying to become more Christ-like. We're trying to become the best version of ourselves, and we're never going to reach that. Like we spend our whole lives doing that, and making mistakes and is just a part of growing up, and we never really stop growing up. So I think our that translates to our reason why as well. I think there's going to be an evolution, because like when you're in middle school or high school, your why is going to be like what's the job, or what's my passion going to be. Then when you're an adult, it's like what's my purpose going to my next purpose going to be? Is it like a job, or is it like a wife? And then once you have become like a dad, or a dad or mother, like your purpose is suddenly for this like new tiny human, and it's like your purpose is always going to be constantly changing. So it's like that is the dangers of like asking yourself why, because you need a why. Like that's what keeps you fighting. That separates the quitters to the heavyweight champs. But like you aren't always going to have like the same why. And like if they in 20 years, if they have another movie where Adonis is like in Rocky's role as a mentor, like he's gonna have to find a new why too, because he can't keep boxing is a very narrow window. Like you can't box for very long. It's like any sport, you retire before you're like 40 or even 35, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have to constantly keep asking yourself, what is your why? What is your why? Like once you have that answer, like keep asking yourself, because it's gonna be changing.
Right. Yeah, like so yeah, going back to the movie. So
Yeah.
like
Sorry, yeah,
no, no,
I went on a huge tangent there.
no, you still were talking about what we need to talk about. 'Cause I'm gonna pull out all that too. So like it's still great. Like but going back to the movie, so we got Donnie Johnson, Adonis Johnson, Baby Creed, right? So Michael B.
He's got
Jordan,
like 4 names, yeah.
right? So like you got him, right? And he's eventually gonna have to fight fighters that are just way more skilled, way more experienced, that just have way more exposure and training in the boxing ring than him, right? Because he even kept on saying at the very beginning of the movie, like, I'm self-taught, like I don't have a trainer, right? But he needs one in order to make it to that next level, right? And so eventually he's just going to have to fight fighters that are just bigger than him, better than him, stronger than him. So I think it's called a bruiser. A bruiser is somebody, you got different orthodox of boxing or something like that. So you got like, strikers that, there are heavy hitters and power hitters or something like that. Then you got like unorthodox fighters. Then you
Yeah.
got like I think bruisers is another term. What do you say?
I think Wallers or something to
Yeah.
do with wall, where they like take hits and then
Mhm.
wait for the right moment. Yeah.
Right. And I think it just changes on who you're fighting and how much greater
Mhm.
the fighter is than you. Right.
Yeah.
So like anyways, with this movie, like Rocky knows like both of the fighters that I think Donnie had to fight, like it could be said that they were just better than him. Only
Mm.
because they had more experience, right? And so like he had to take, especially with the last fight he had to take for the main fighter for the movie, like he had to be a bruiser. That's what it's called, I think. And that's just somebody who has to take hits and they have to weigh it out. So that means you have to go all 12 rounds just taking hits, taking hits, taking hits. But and Rocky even said it. He said, for this fight, we're going to take one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time.
Mm.
Right. So if you don't have what it takes to keep on taking punches, like, and Rocky even said it in like Rocky 7. I think it was Rocky 7 when he was talking to his son, and his son was like, I'm sick and tired of people telling you that you're my father, like, and I should be like you, and like people just always associate me with you, and I just want to get away from you. I don't want anything to do with you, but I can't because I'm a Balboa. Like, and it just
Mm.
goes with the territory. And Rocky just heard his son complaining and whining about that, just complaining and whining. And he was like, life isn't all sunshines and rainbows. Like, life ain't gonna give you everything you want. Like he said, life's like boxing. Life's gonna hit you in the face. And people think boxing's all about how hard you can hit. He said, no, boxing's all about how hard you can get hit and then get back up
Oh,
and
ooh, I
keep
like.
on fighting.
Yeah.
He said it's not about how hard you can punch. It's about how hard you can take, how much hits can you take and keep on going. He said
Mm.
that's life. And he said quitting is what quitters do. And a quitter is not you. Like, so stop with the quitter mentality. Like
Oh.
saying because somebody did this, because somebody doesn't like me over here, because somebody thinks this, like it stops me. He said, no, it doesn't. That's how quitters think. He said, you're a winner. You got to fight in life. And like Rocky for this movie, like everything was like parallel. Like it wasn't just about one person's story. It's about
Mm.
two people's really. So like with Rocky had to fight because he got some form of cancer. I don't know what the cancer is called, but did you remember what it is,
No,
Justin?
I actually don't remember that one. Yeah.
Okay, but Rocky got some type of cancer in this movie, and he was just gonna give up. He even said it during the movie, like I'm going, if something, I said it to myself a long time ago when Adrian passed away, like, something in my body breaks, I'm gonna leave it broken. Something happens, I'm not gonna fix it. Like, so he wasn't even gonna go get treatment when he first heard that he had cancer.
Uh-huh.
But Michael B. Jordan, his character heard that, you had cancers, and he was like, no, if I'm taking this fight, you gotta fight, right? And so what's crazy is, I'm just gonna fast forward. So the end of the movie was the best part of the movie for me. Like when it came to that last fight in that last scene, when it was after round 11, before the last round of the whole fight for the whole movie, the main fight, right? Rocky kept on wanting to throw in the towel. Like he said, like, he told little baby Creed, like, you know, he told him a long time ago, like, bring back everything that has ever hurt you. Like, bring back all that pain. Bring back everything that's ever held you back, you know, and put them in both of your fists, and then put it through his body. And I promise you, his head will fall. Right? He said that before round 11. Right? And so that's what Creed was doing. Like, Rocky kept on like giving him motivational speeches each and every single round because that's what Creed needed, right? Because he basically Creed was showing what his why was through his fighting, right? But it and like he didn't say what it was until after round 11, right? Like, so this is when Creed finally says, like, why is he fighting, right? And this is what happened. So Rocky was going to stop the fight because he could barely see out of his eye. Am I sharing my screen, Justin?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, he could barely see out of this eye. Like, this eye is almost
Which
completely.
also happened. Yeah, that also happened to Rocky when he was fighting his dad.
Oh,
Like his eye got busted up. He couldn't see out of one of them.
yeah. And so because of that, like, and then the fight was just way better. So like Rocky really wants to stop the fight at the very last round, right? And Rocky said, I should have stopped the fight with your father. I'm gonna stop this one now. Like, Rocky, that was his greatest fear. That's what he had to work with. He had to figure out, like, why he was doing this because he didn't want to repeat history again, right? And that was both movies. That was Creed 1 and Creed 2. Like, he didn't want Creed to take some fights, but he took
Yeah.
them anyways. And like, and it really, like, Rocky was like, I don't know, man. Like, but he ran with him with this one because they prepared for it. They fought for this. Like, they practiced for this. So, like, he knew what it took for them to win, but it's gonna be brutal. And he even said it was gonna be brutal, right? So yeah, Rocky said, I should have stopped the fight with your father. I'm stopping this one now. Creed was like, don't let me finish. I gotta prove it. And Rocky was like, what do you gotta prove? You should have seen his face. Like, what do you gotta prove? And Creed was like, that I'm not a mistake. That was so powerful, right? Because the whole entire movie, like, everybody associated Baby Creed with Creed, like his dad. Like, they never, like, once they figured that out, like, they just ran with it and
Right.
they used that name like crazy and just associated him with his father.
Because before they found out he was from LA, so they were treating him as spoiled kid, and they gave him a nickname Hollywood. But as soon as it came out that he was Creed's son, it's like they dropped the Hollywood like completely. Suddenly, like, he had no identity for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Something I liked, the thing I actually liked about the end of the first movie is that he lost. Like, he didn't prove that he wasn't a mistake by winning. He proved he wasn't a mistake by not quitting, by like proving that he could keep fighting. Because, like, I think we said this before, like 10% of who you are is like what happens to you, but 90% is like how you react to it. And it's like, do you give up fighting? Do you like give up because the other guy is better? And that's something I liked about like watching Donnie's fight is you could actually tell he was like a smarter fighter. And we said this before, like Donnie was he came from like an educated background, actually. Like, he had a good financial job. He didn't have to quit. But like something in the first movie that I'm sad they took away from the second movie is every time Donnie looks at somebody, like, you see the stats of that person, like their power, their speed, their win ratio, their like style or something like that. And I realized watching it a second time is like, oh, this is all happening in like Donnie's head, because it only happens when Donnie's like looking at somebody,
right, and about to fight him.
Yeah. Just like passing, or just like seeing. I think it was like one time he just was like looking at someone in the gym and these stats like popped up or something. It's like he didn't get that from Rocky. Like Rocky's a great fighter, but he was like a high school dropout or something,
Hmm.
running an Italian restaurant. So it's like I like that he brought that to the table in his fights. So like he didn't have all of his dad's qualities, but like he used what he had to like keep on fighting. And
Hmm.
like he proved himself, because that's another dangerous part, I think, is like attaching your why to success. Like we live in a very performance driven society,
Hmm.
which is very dangerous. You don't earn your parents' love by getting good grades. You don't earn acceptance of friends by having like a good job or something like that. But for whatever reason, we've attached to our worth to our success. So that's something I loved about the movie, is like he lost, but like his why wasn't attached just to his success. Like eventually he became what was it, heavyweight champion in the second movie
Hmm.
by working hard. But like he, I don't know, man, just watching him fight, like, oh gosh, there are too many scenes that I just love from the movie of like watching him fight, because it has like so many parallels
Hmm.
to like the first Rockies, like him walking through town or running through town, training, chasing after chickens. It's like that's how he showed he was a mistake. That's how he proved his why, was not from his success, but man, like the hard work, like watching his journey. And that's something that was heartbreaking in the second movie as well, is like I guess I'll spoil it, but for the second movie, it's like you find out the Ivan Drago,
Hmm.
uh like because he lost, like the Russian government just like threw him away, like he lived in poverty. It's like, man, that's, oh god, it's so he was trying to like live through his son, and like that's sad.
And his wife left him.
Yes, yeah, and then like, yeah. Oh God, there's too much to say about that, because
Right.
man, I want to do a psychoanalysis on like his son. What was his name? It was something
Dragons.
awesome, like Victor Drago,
Yeah.
Victorious Dragon, I think is what it translates to. It's like, okay, I mean that's a win right there, but it's a okay. That's off topic. That's we're talking about Donnie right now, but yeah, like it's but yeah, actually that's a good comparison, because oh, like for the Russian dad and son, they tied their worth to their success, and so did the Russian government. That's why they like trained him so hard and spent billions of dollars training him. But like Donnie, he tied his why to like having to keep fighting, like doing what's in his blood, using his passions. Like that's what it feels like to use God's gifts, I think. Is like when you know God has given you a gift, like you feel like you have to use it. You're compelled to do it. But he still, like, it didn't come easy to him. He had to like, he was given some gifts, but he was also like denied some of
Yeah.
Apollo's gifts.
Opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, and the opportunities. Yeah, so he had to work for it.
Hmm.
But like one scene I want to compare that I saw last night is like in the second movie, in the first movie, you see Baby Creed, like running, and like suddenly's it. The first time I watched it, I thought it was ridiculous, but these motorbikes and these ATVs just like start driving with him and doing wheelies while he's running, and
Hmm.
like the musical score is awesome. It just gets you pumped up. It's kind of a parallel to like Rocky also running for his training, and like the townspeople are joining them, and like the townspeople just like they love Rocky and Donnie because they're like their people, and that gets you pumped up, and like that encourages them to go further. But then in the second movie, I noticed like Victor, the son, is also running to train, and he has like an intense workout, but he's being followed by his dad in the car, and like his dad would speed up the car to make Victor run faster. And one time Victor didn't run faster. So his dad pulled him over and said, "When I tell you to run faster, you run faster." And it's like he has all the training, he has all the physical fortitude, but man, he has like none of the love. Like his worth is tied to his success.
Right.
And like that's a big difference. Is like when your why is tied to your success, it's like it's detrimental to your mental growth. It's like you'll never be satisfied. Like what is success? Like yeah, maybe you succeed in one thing, But like we said, like it's a constant. If you tie it to success, it's a constant uh, void that just doesn't get filled.
Yeah.
At all. But if you like, I don't know. It's man. I'm sorry. I went way longer than I thought.
That was good because like in the second movie too, like Rocky said, Creed was like, no, yeah, baby Creed asked, should I take the fight? Because he always asks Rocky. Rocky was like, no, like he said, you don't. He said, fighting somebody who has nothing to lose, and then he said, who's raised in hate. Like he's like, that's not somebody you want to fight. He's like, with them, they're not going to box you. That's not their style.
Yeah.
And then he even said he's big. He's trained differently than you. He fought differently than you. Like he was raised differently than you. He was raised on survival. Then on top of that, raised in hate. Like it's like you don't want to fight somebody like that. He even Rocky would even told him multiple times, like through different fighters. He was just like, some people are just crazy, and you don't need to be around. You don't need to fight. He's like, you have no reason to fight him. You have nothing to prove. Yeah. So why are you going to fight him?
Because he didn't have to fight him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie even said, what frustrates me is like Donnie at the beginning even said, "Oh, they're just saying this for a publicity stunt," but he still like falls into the trap.
Right. Yeah. So the video.
You think he should have? He didn't have to fight him. Do you think he should have fought like the Dragos? Do you think he should have fought him?
In the second, we're talking about the second movie, guys. By the way.
Yeah.
The second movie, he should have. If I would never took the fight without Rocky. I think that's where he was feeling it. Like if he had Rocky's approval and they trained for it the first time around, then he would have went through all the embarrassment that he went through. Like, because
I think he went into that fight for the wrong reasons. So.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
It pretty much goes against everything that I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. Because suddenly, I think, well, one thing I didn't say about the first movie is, yeah, he fought because he felt like it was in his blood. But I really thought he was fighting so he would feel closer to his dad too, that he never got to know.
Yeah.
But that didn't get brought up too much. It was really Adonis's story, and I like that. The second one, though, it was a little more about his dad, and I think he was going into it to like avenge his dad. But like even his mom, even Adonis, even like Apollo's mom said like fighting him has like no reason. It's like it won't bring back your dad. Like, yeah.
At the very end of the movie, when baby Creed went to his dad's grave, he even told him that, I didn't do it for you. I fought for me.
Yeah.
The first time he lost, he didn't lose. He almost lost, and his opponent got disqualified.
Yeah.
By technicality he won, but he had to fight him a second time. And the only reason why he wanted to fight him a second time, which was powerful, was because all the shame, the embarrassment, the way the first fight went. Like his dad's name was even more like pushed to the ground, and it kind of went with his reason why in the first movie. Like, what was his reason why? To prove that he wasn't a mistake. Like he didn't want his dad's name to go out there and be affiliated with his dad, because then that kind of taints his legacy, because he had an affair to have him. Like we didn't know about you. Like this was held under wraps, right? So that makes his dad look a little worse than what his legacy already was, right? And so now, then he died in the ring in the second movie, fighting the opponent's father that he had to fight in the second movie, right? So like it's just a lot of like he had to make sure his reasons for fighting were right, because like Rocky said at the very beginning of the first movie, if your reasons are wrong, like when you get knocked down, you're not gonna want to get back up. Like when life hits you in the face, and you're not gonna be able to dig down deep because your reason for fighting is wrong, right? And he even said that like in round 12, he told him you gotta dig deep. You have to find something inside of you that will help you to keep on fighting, right? As a bruiser fighter, like when you fight somebody that's bigger, that's better, that's stronger, that can hurt you. Like he said, you're going to take punches. It's gonna get ugly, like, but you have to weigh it out, right? You have to tire them out. You gotta let them lose their stamina. You gotta play mind games with them, as like saying to them in their head, like, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep on taking these punches. I'm gonna keep on dishing them out until it's time, and you're really tired. I'm gonna knock your butt out. Like you gotta take my punches too. And Rocky even said that, like in round 6. After round 6, he said, you're going through hell out there, right? But you have to keep hurting him too. I can see it in his eyes, like he's hurting too, right? So you are not far behind him. Like they think that you're far behind. Everybody else thinks that you're far behind, but you're not as far behind as you think because you're getting in his head. And so, like after round 7, Creed was like, the boy's fast, and we're talking about the first Creed movie, by the way, like the main fight at the end. All right, so Creed was like, the boy's fast, and Rocky was like, hey, it's you against you. Let's go back to the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Rocky had baby Creed in front of the mirror, and he was just shadow boxing himself, right? He said, you see that person in the mirror looking back at you? He said, there's no greater opponent. He said, every single day, that's the person you got to try to beat out. He said, that's your competition. He said, your competition is not not the opponent that they said that you have. It's not the other people over here, over there. It's not anything else. He said, your opponent in life is you. It's you versus you. And so after Rocky said that, Creed was like, me against me. Like when he's all tired and can't go no more. And Rocky's like, yeah, that's right. He said, he is just in your way. Get him out your way. Like, like that's what life is, man. Like we're asking for this video, like, what is your why? Right? Like, I'm gonna just tell you some of the stuff he said. Like, stuff is so powerful, like everything. Like after round 2, so it's about an hour and 53 minutes of the movie. Rocky told baby Creed, he said, you belong here. Like nobody else thought you belonged here, but now they see it after round 2 because they think they're more than round 1. Right. So now that it's after round 2, about to be round 3, Rocky said, you belong here. They don't know what you have been through, and they sure don't know what we both have been through. And he was talking about him facing cancer, all the problems that he had, and baby Creed helping him with his problems, and Rocky helping Creed to fight this battle that he had to fight. So he said, you woke up a sleeping giant. Now he's gonna come for you. So what are you gonna do about it? He said he's gonna come at you with everything that he has. So what are you gonna do about it? Like, like he said it's you versus you, and that's life. Like, what's your why? Right. And so for me, like, Justin, that is a deep question. So why do you get up for work to go to that job that you hate? Right? Why do you love on that kid that brings you so much shame? It just makes life so hard for you. So why do you love on that kid? Why do you love on that parent that drives you crazy? Why you still honor your father and mother when God tells you to honor them? Why do you still do it though? Right? It's good to say, yeah, God tells me to, but why? Right? Like, why do you still go to that church you hate? You can't stand people, but like God called you to serve him. Like, why do you still do those things? And so for me, like, why do I do YouTube videos? Like, why do I still post every single day? Well, sometimes I don't get no likes at all. Well, I won't say I don't get no likes, but I barely get any likes, right? Like, I barely get any views doing YouTube videos sometimes, majority of the time, whatever you want to say. However you want to float your boat, right? So why do I do all this, right? So if your reason for doing what you're doing isn't strong enough, you're not going to be able to weather the storm. When life hits you in the face and it gets hard, you're not going to do it no more, right? Adversity will deter you. You won't want to fight no more. And in this Christian life, in this life right here, we got to fight the good fight of faith. That is so powerful. We got to fight the good fight of faith. So when the odds aren't in your favor, you got to keep on fighting. Right? You got to have faith that it's going to work out. Right? Faith is believing in, it's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's what faith is. It's the evidence of things not seen. You believe what you don't see. You believe that God will make a way, even though it don't look like it can happen, even though it looks impossible, right? You keep on fighting, you keep on showing up, you keep on doing the work, you keep on grinding despite what you see, right? We fight the good fight of faith. That's what that means. It's a fight. So that's why we even doing this video talking about boxing. Boxing is so powerful, man. Rocky just said some profound stuff to Creed, man. Like Rocky, after round 11, before round 12, the powerful round where he knocked down the opponent. Baby Creed knocked down his opponent finally. It was the first time his opponent got knocked out in his whole career. And his career's ended. Like, it was already ending after this fight. That's why he had to take the fight with baby Creed, because he needed his name to be remembered so that his children could be provided for and have enough money before he goes to jail, right? So baby Creed eventually knocked him out, right? But before that, and after round 11, before round 12 started, Rocky said, I never got to thank your father for helping me to fight again when Mickey died, right? Like, I didn't want to fight no more, but your father came to me, trained me, got me right. And so, like, he blessed me. and gave me a reason to fight. And he said, I didn't have another reason to fight, but you showed me a reason to fight. Like he said in the beginning of the movie, like I was gonna let everything break that was in me because what's the point of being here? Adrian's gone, my best friend Polly's gone, Mickey's gone. Like I'm not fighting no more. Like what am I fighting for? He had no good why. Rocky didn't even have a good why. But Adonis, Baby Creed, Michael B. Jordan's character, he motivated him to keep on fighting. And he even said that. He said, you taught me to fight again. He said, I'm going home and I'm going to continue to fight because of you. Just like your father, you taught me to fight again. He said, but if I fight, I want you to fight too. I want you to cross that ring and knock that son of a B word down. Like he said, can you do it? He said, say it. And so Creed was like, I'm going to knock that son of a down, right? And so that's what happens, and that's life. Like, what mountains are you facing? What battles are you facing? Like, so many people give up. They want to quit, right? They get knocked down. Like I just got let go from my job. So what am I gonna do? Quit? Like and lose all the money I obtained for this year? And I'm trying to get married. I'm trying to have 6 kids. I'm trying to get a house. I got to get another car because I just got rid of my car like in about 3 months ago now. Like
you needed to. That was an old car. That car was getting
right.
old.
Right? Like I have so many mountains, right? You guys see what I'm saying? You have so many mountains. Like my heart, like I know my heart is I gotta take more care of that than any other body part of my body because I know I can have a heart attack. I know I can have heart disease or lung cancer or brain cancer because my dad smoked cigarettes in the house. Like you see what I'm saying? Like I have so many battles. You have so many battles. What are you gonna do? Give up? You're gonna quit? So what's your why? What's gonna keep you going? And so for me, like, why do I keep on posting? Why do I still do videos? Why do I have faith at all that even though I'm 30 years old and I thought I'll be Joel Osteen or Stephen Furtick or just some popular preacher now by the age of 30, and I'm nowhere near that. I thought I'd be married already. Like, what am I going to give up and quit just because it ain't happened? Yeah, no. I'm going to keep on fighting. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep on boxing my demons in my battles and until I knock that son of a B word down, right? And that's like with the walls of Jericho. Like it's so many Bible stories, right? Like with the walls of Jericho, Joshua was told by God he was the predecessor, I think that's the word, of Moses. So after Moses, Joshua was the leader of the Israelites, and they had to get this one area in the promised land, but they had to walk around. God told them just walk around the city. Don't even attack them. Don't talk to them. Don't do nothing. Just walk around the city, the walls of Jericho. And I want you to walk around it a certain amount of times every single day. They had to do it for 7 days, right? And eventually on the 7th day, the walls fell down. But they didn't know why they were doing it. They just was told by God to march around the walls. That didn't make no sense to them. That sounded stupid, right? And then I already know the people in Jericho was mocking them. They were saying, man, why y'all, they just marching around? Like, this is our enemy, but they're not doing anything. Like, they're nothing. Like, they're just marching around. They're no threat. Then the walls fall down, and then the Israelites can take advantage of the walls that crumbled down for a city. I knew that threw them off. And that means I know some soldiers fell down with the walls because, like, they're guarding the walls. Like, there's people who are, like, what are they called? They're on the watchtower looking down. What are they called?
Sentries.
Yeah, okay. Well, people like that, yeah, watching to see what the enemies are doing to like sound the horn and stuff like that and warn the whole nation and stuff. But like, yeah, like they didn't give up. They kept on marching and kept on doing what God called them to do despite what they thought, despite how they felt, despite it sounding stupid, right? So that's what we got to do. We got to keep on fighting. So what's your why? Like, what's your reason for doing what you do? I know for me, it's for legacy. Just like Adonis Creed, it's no different. Like, it's not just for legacy. It's for the Lord. It's for so his name can be great. It's so people can see God at work through my life, right? And even more lives can be saved. Eventually, the whole world's going to know who Sean Christopher Jenkins is. But when they say my name, you can only say, man, that was a child of God. That was Jesus is seen through my life. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm going for. So what are you going for? So despite me seeing no likes sometimes, despite me seeing no views sometimes on my YouTube channel, despite me feeling like, okay, I have no reason for toiling for just doing this video, right? Like, you see how many slides I had, right? Like this doesn't just come out my butt. Like, I have to take out time to do this when I have other stuff to do. Like, I just got let go from my job, and like, what am I doing for work? Right? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a lot, guys. So yeah, what's your why? Like,
I want to tie what you're working for back to the Creed movie as well, because like, man, that's powerful stuff. Like you want a legacy not just for like your own name, but you want a legacy for God, and like that's more powerful because you're feeding into something that's eternal, like something that will like it'll last forever. Like you're feeding into an eternal universal thing. Because something from the second Creed movie, I think, is I don't even know who he was, some rando. He was saying, he was asking Creed like, how many heavyweight title champions are there? And he says like 77. It's like, how many names do you actually know? How many names does the average Joe or the crowd know? And it's like maybe 4 or 5. Like you don't know all the heavyweight champions, but like can you imagine they fought hard for their own legacy, but you can't even say their name? It's like we're going over the book of Ecclesiastes in church, and he asked like, who among us can like name 4 of our great grandparents, or like, and it's like maybe you could name 1 or 2. Like we don't know that many. It's like after you die, like your legacy, your name, like your name is going to be like buried with you, unfortunately. But so that I think that needs to motivate like our why as well. Like what, like I think it needs to feed into like 2 things. One, it feeds into something that is like everlasting, eternal, and I really think that's what God's kingdom looks like God's kingdom on earth. When you share love to somebody, that gets passed on to somebody else as like the kingdom of God moving. But secondly, and something we're learning about Ecclesiastes is like we kind of learn that everything we do just returns to dust. So you kind of have to like work for the moment as well. Like it's good to have like a why that is linked to your legacy, but a lot of times like not all of us are going to have a legacy. So a big part of our why needs to be tied into like the moment. Like we spend a lot of our time like we're like either regretting the past or like being anxious about the future. Like we're never like right in the middle for whatever reason. But like if we someone was explaining to me like instead of looking back on the past with like regret, like look back onto it as like reflection. You get to build on to like your track of life. You get to build on to the beauty of that moment. Like I was telling Sean, like my mother-in-law's in town, which it's been a blessing to like have her and like see her because she's like from China. We never get to see her a lot, but it's like it's added a lot of stress to my wife. She's like cleaning and kind of like complaining about how what a mess the house is like constantly. But it's like it gets me to thinking like yeah that could stress me out, but like I don't want to throw a pity party for myself. Like I want to like live in the moment and appreciate, okay, like family is over. Like I don't know how long I'll be able to spend time with that family.
Mhm.
And it's like I don't know. I think that can actually like be tied into your why as well. Your legacy is like what kind of person were you? It's not like what did you build for yourself? It's like what type of who were you in that moment? And like I think that's important is like a lot of times how you act around people or how you show off to other people is not who you are. It's like who you are in the dark, who you are in that moment, who you are when you get knocked down. Are you gonna like get back up? Are you gonna like lay back down and like complain about it or make excuses? But no, like you're not a quitter, as Rocky was saying. It's like you keep fighting. You live in that moment. You go one step, one punch, one round at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a good quote.
Right, that's what I was going to say, guys. Like before Adonis took that fight, like, and when he was training for it with Rocky, right? Actually, this was the first time, the first fight that he took. It was against a guy. It's against Rocky's childhood friend that I showed you guys earlier. Right here, this is childhood friend or whatever. His son was boxing. His son's 17-0, ranked number 4 in the world in the lightweight division, right? And Rocky started training Adonis for the fight, and he was telling him, like, we gotta go one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. And I said the quote earlier, but Rocky was telling him, when it gets hard and you don't know why you want to fight, he's like, I want you to think about all the times that somebody hurt you. Think about all the times that somebody disrespected you. Think about all the times that somebody cheated you. So my reason why for doing what I do, it pushes me, right? And he said like when life hits you hard and it hits you with stuff that you don't want, that hurt, that's like disrespects you, like it cheated you out of everything you ever wanted. It told you you couldn't have it. He said, go after it. He said, with every punch, I want you to go after what you want. Tell them that you can have it, right? He said, now is your time to make that statement. He's like, you're not going to get this opportunity again. He's like, one step, one punch, one round at a time. He said, you can change your legacy with one step. You can change your legacy with one punch. You can change your legacy with one round at a time. He's like, but what's your reason why for doing it, right? He said, like, if your reason why for doing it is strong enough, then you can go one step, one punch, one round at a time, right? And so, like, that's what we got to do, right? So, like, for me, it's so powerful because, like, once my reason why too is like proving my dad wrong. Like I was telling you guys, like, there's a negative voice always in my head. It's my dad. Like, just all the time he told me, like, for example, what investing. He just the other day, he said, I need a financial degree, like something in business, in order to invest. Right? He said, if you don't know what people on Wall Street know, you can't be a great investor. Then even one time he said, like, with preaching, right? I need a degree in order to preach. Like, you don't have a degree, you can't preach. What? Like, just some of the stuff that he said, like, yeah, he's trying to motivate me and stuff like that. He's trying to get me to be on a level that he's not at, but he just says stuff that's way off. Like, just no. I like, so every single time, and he's always done it. It's not something that he just has done now. Like, no, he said a lot of other stuff too, right? So, like, that's my one step, one punch, one round at a time. Like, I'm showing up every single day, step by step, day by day. I'm showing up. Even when I don't want to show up, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a post. Like, I'm gonna keep on doing what God called me to do, despite what everybody else says, right? I'm gonna keep on serving the Lord, doing what He wants me to do, even though the results, I don't see it. Like, sometimes I don't see the point in doing it because I get no results at all, right? But over time, I will, right? Over time, the walls of Jericho will fall down. Over time, I'm going to build a great wall of China if I just keep on going, keep on fighting, keep on showing up, right? And so that's the same thing for us. We got to keep on going. So your reason for doing what you're doing got to be real powerful. It got to be real strong. Otherwise, you're not going to have no legacy at all. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to build anything, right? And so this is the superpower of doing a little bit every single day. Like now, Justin, it just goes to other videos I was trying to do with this. So I'm going to stop. But like, I've done this video before, guys, talking about little by little, day by day. A little by little, a little becomes a lot. A little progress each day adds up to big results. So this is what it looks like when you keep on showing up every single day and you don't give up. Despite you wanting to quit, despite something happening, trying to deter you from doing what God called you to do, from investing in that or from doing whatever you need to do. Consistency is key, right? Consistency, action creates consistent results. Right? Consistent action creates consistent results. If you don't keep on showing up and keep on being consistent, you'll never see the superpower doing a little by little every single day, right? So success is achieved by a deliberate, consistent discipline of taking small steps daily rather than one large step occasionally. Like, you're not going to just get to that next level. You're not going to just show up and be an overnight success. That's nobody's story, right? It takes time. And if you are overnight success, it doesn't last long. And even if you're not an overnight success and it took time, it still don't last long. Like, your name being great and you being popular, after 500 years, I'm pretty sure nobody will remember you, right? Like, unless you're just Jesus or somebody, right? And that's Jesus, right? So, like, or Hitler, right? They'll be remembered, right? But most people won't be, right? So,
That's a good example, man.
but yeah, guys. So, what's your why? That's today's video. If your why is good enough, man, I'm pretty sure you'll achieve anything you put your mind to, man. You'll fight through anything that you're trying to fight through. And that was the Creed movie, man. Like, his why was, I'm trying to prove that I'm not a mistake. And that was so powerful. That means every single punch, every time he worked hard, every time he had to get up early to work out with Rocky, and he had him doing something crazy like chasing chickens or something that didn't make sense. Or he had, in the second movie, was it the second movie where he had to go in this sand desert place?
Oh, yeah.
And fight with, yeah, he had to go toe for toe. They couldn't get outside the tire, and they had to box, like, with their feet in a tire, right? So they can't move. It's just they taking shot for shot, blow for blow, right? So, like, he had to do workouts that he never had to do, like, he never even thought of doing before, just to train for the fighter he was about to fight. And that's what God does with us. There's some battles that you're facing right now that you never thought you would have to face, but God wants you to face it before you get to that next level. Before
Mm,
you can face the battle that you got to face next, He needs you to get what you need to learn right now through the seasons and adversities and challenges that you're going through right now. So this is my story too. I'm going through the same thing, man. Success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out, right? So everybody wants to be successful, but are you willing to go through the hard work and the hurdles and the obstacles and the pain and the suffering that you got to go through in order to be successful,
mm,
right? So yeah, guys, that's
yeah.
today's video, man. You good, Justin? You have anything else?
I will just say, and sometimes you'll fail. Like that happens. God
Mm-hmm.
promises us prosperity and success if we follow Him, but our idea of what success is very different from what God is. Like we are going to fail. Like that's like Creed failed, technically failed in the first movie at the end. Like he lost the match after 12 rounds of like hard work. I don't like how we're always passing out participation trophies at like martial art competitions or like baseball games. It's like I think we kids need to learn to fail sometimes because again, like people are going to see what was motivating about Donnie, I think, was seeing how hard was not seeing him win. It was like seeing how hard he fought, seeing what he put into that ring, like seeing him take it one step, one punch at a time. So like that's all I want to say for that is like your why in your fight for your why, you're gonna fail sometimes, but sometimes you're gonna succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got to roll with the punches, guys. One step, one punch, one round at a time. That's today's video, guys. Man, that
Good
is
one.
such a powerful man saying. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that. But all right, guys. So you guys know the drill. Here go my other social media pages. I have the best social media pages ever. So go ahead and follow all of them. Subscribe to all of them. Turn on the post notifications on all of them so you know when I upload another video or make another post or anything like that. And then also, if you really enjoyed this video, if you go to my YouTube channel, you see I have a lot of playlists on there.
Mm.
And so one of my playlists I have is titled Little by Little. So if you enjoyed this video, I talk about that a lot. Just talking about how God blesses us little by little, right? Brick by brick. God doesn't just give us blessings like with rain. God doesn't just let all the rain come down for all the water we need in the day. He's not going to let it just flood from heaven, like everything that we need instantly, right then and there. Right?
Mm.
No, it's raindrop by raindrop. We get the nutrition, the water, the nourishment that the world needs,
Mm.
right? And that's powerful, drop by drop, right? So that's what God does with us. He's speaking through creation. Like you're just not going to just be your overnight success and get to the places that God wants you to be. No, He wants to make sure you're ready for the blessings that He has for you.
Mm.
Right? So what's your why? Your why will help you to be patient and wait on the Lord, right? So little by little, God will get your life in order if you let Him. So God is working in you and moving you along little by little in such a way that you may not even notice you are no longer where you were last year. That's how God moves in our lives, step by step, day by day, little by little. So your why has to be strong enough to be able to understand God's timing and wait on it so that you can reap the reward and experience what you're waiting on that He promised to you, right? And
Mm.
so another playlist I have on my YouTube channel is called Christian Easter Egg. So this was when me and Justin
Ooh.
uh, just do videos on like movies that we watched, like Creed, like we did today, or like we did Inside Out. So that this was Inside Out right here. So if you enjoyed that, just check out this playlist and you'll see us explain more movies or TV shows. And so that's this playlist. And then also on this is Justin's YouTube channel, Chaplain's Log. So make sure to subscribe, click the bell, so turn on the post notifications so you know when he uploads another video. Like, comment, and share, and make sure to watch every video all the way through. And then this is his Facebook page, Justin Lee Howell. So befriend him on here. You can DM us on our Facebook pages if you have any questions that you want us to do videos on, and we'll do a video for you. But thanks for tuning in, guys. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
All right. Y'all stay blessed.